Well, on this latest episode is all about MARIGOLD. As you probably know, we just begun, of course, with their latest tour, Rising Spirit. Now, we're just going to focus on day 1 through 4. So, as you probably know, day 1 started in Corkin Hall featuring many matches, including the Twin Star Tag Team belt. And, of course, the main event features the battle between two promotions, Mighty Gold versus Marvelous. So the real question is, who will walk out as the victor? That is something we will pay attention to. The rest of the other days, well, nothing too big. However, just like any other events, there's also preliminary matches involving either for title matches or special matches, whatever comes first. So we're going to go from A to Z on all of them and see what happens from here on out. But as always, we will cap up our episode with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of wrestling, such as what events the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK. Anywhere in the world pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or nice comments in the description down below. Now, enough with the yapping. It's time to rock. So let's begin, of course, with Mighty Gold's Rising Spirit that took on day 1. Okay, Mighty Gold. As I said earlier in the start of this episode, Mighty Gold just started their latest tour, Rising Spirit. So this is their latest tour so far. Now, of course, the one we just saw recently, Spring Victory Series, is officially done. A brand new series has begun. So we'll see what happens from here on out. However, day 1 took place, of course, on the 25th, the 24th or 25th of April in Corkin Hall. So this is one of their much bigger shows. So let's start from the very beginning. We have Nagisa Tachibana versus the return of Komomo Minami and versus Hummingbird. So nothing too special, but recently there has been a bit of a rivalry between both Tachibana and Hummingbird. So Komomo, well, nothing too big about her. I mean, not only because she's just returned, but nothing special. But, however, it was Hummingbird who walked away with the win when she applied a bridge onto Tachibana, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. Done. Next up, we have Riara versus Minami Yuki, the other Minami, in case anybody asks, in a singles action. Nothing too special about this, but keep in mind Riara is not officially part of the MARIGOLD roster. She is just a freelancer making her presence. But many probably would think is a possibility that Riara can pick up the win. I mean, yes, but unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Excuse me. It was Minami who picked up the win when she applied some sort of modified crucifix pinfall onto her, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have an interesting 6-woman tag team match with the combination of Gigaton. She teams up with the members of Darkness Revolution, more specifically Megaton and Nagiza Nozaki. They take on Ryoko Sakimura, Arena Yamanaka, and of course Chanyota. Now, don't know what's the specifics of this match, but however, of course, Gigaton has been recently been teaming up with Darkness Revolution on various occasions, but she is not a member of the group. I mean, I'm not sure if there's been considerations having her there, but when you look at the opposing team, you look at Sakimura, she is in fact of a less experience than everybody else in the ring, but Arena Yamanaka comes from the best body Japan promotion as for Chinyota. Well, we all know she's friends with Mai Sakurai and all that. But however, it was of course a chokehold by Nagiza onto of course Sakimura. Sakimura had no choice but to tap out, and just like that, it was completely over. Next up, we have the Mighty Gold Twin Star Tag Team Belts. Darkness Revolution members Mitsa Matsui and Chiaki, well, they face off the champions Siri Yamaoka and of course Passion Nana Takahashi. As you probably know, we are almost at the time when she's about to hang up her boots and retire, so this is an important thing for her. However, many of you would think, okay, what about the possibility they can get screwed over in this match? I mean, yes, you got the other members of Darkness Revolution, Megaton and Nagiza Nozaki. And of course, that plays out pretty well in this match. But however, Yamaoka and Nanane were able to successful to retain the belts when Nanane took out what's her name, Mitsa Matsui with the refrigerator bomb, and just like that, uno, dos, tres, se acabó. Just like that, Nanane and Siri retained their tag team belts. Next up, this is a bit of a preliminary match for Mirai. As you know, she'll team up with her longtime friend and former member of DDM, Mai Sakurai. They take on Victoria Yuzuki and Utami Ishida. Now, Mirai, as you know, issued the challenge for the Crimson Belt, the Mighty Gold World Championship belt. You probably ask yourselves who's going to walk out with the momentum. I mean, anything could happen. Both ladies are amazing, but however, Utami Ishida is one of the most toughest and most respected wrestlers ever, but Mirai, as you know, has been showing how tough she can be. She was able to defeat Utami when she applied, of course, a lariat, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Then during the post-match promo, Mirai had a few words to say to, of course, Utami. As you probably can guess, this is about her saying that she will be the one to dethrone her and keep her world title reign very short, but we only got a little bit to go until we get to there. So that's pretty much it for that. Now, our main event, this is the battle between two different promotions, Mighty Gold versus Marvelous. And so basically, we have 5 representatives showing up. Representing Mighty Gold, we have Kizuna Tanaka, um, Rhea Seto, Natsumi Shizuki, Miku Anu, and of course Chika Goto. Representing Marvelous, we have Sora Yame, who is the rookie, Aihausen, Maria, Riko Kawahara, and then finally, of course, the ace of Marvelous, Takumi Iroha. So you probably can guess there's going to be some interesting match moments. Well, here's how it goes. It starts out with Kizuna Tanaka taking on, of course, Sora Yame in the first match. Now, this match ended quickly after 1 minute because it was Kizuna Tanaka that was able to pick up the victory with a modified armbar. And of course, just like that, Ayame had no choice but to tap out. But Kizuna Tanaka actually remained faces against Aya Hausen. I forgot to mention this is a gauntlet match. Um, Aya Hausen, I have to say, she was on the verge of winning this match. She looked more like she could have defeated her because you got to remember, it depends on the stamina and tiredness you have. But Kizuna Tanaka was able to, of course, survive by applying a Fujiwara armbar onto, of course, onto Hausen, and just like that, she tapped out, and of course, Kizuna Tanaka remained. But however, she has to face against Maria. So of course, Maria is one of the. She has grown a lot. I've been watching her when I started watching Marvelous, how much she has changed. But she was able to pick up the victory with pinfall, and just like that, they got rid of one. Marvelous defeat one of their own. So basically, it's catch up. But Maria had to face against one of Marigold's character wrestlers, Rhea Seto. So you don't know how this was going to be. But Maria was able to defeat her by applying an armbar. And then, of course, Maria remained facing against Natsumi Shozuki. Now, this match, it was so intense, but unfortunately, this match ended in a time limit draw. So that means both ladies did not win or lose. So it was just elimination on that. And then there was Riko Kawahata versus Miko Ano, which is interesting because those who don't know, Riko Kawahata started with, of course, in at-risk girls, just like Miku Ano. But however, just like this match, it also finished in a 10-minute time limit draw. So it was completely over from there. And then it led up to, of course, Takumi and Chika Goto. Now, Chika Goto was all smiles prior before this event. Well, she was in smiles because she said she was going to step up as the leader. Well, this is where she has to put herself to the test. But unfortunately, she was able to escape the running three by Takumi. But unfortunately, this next time it wasn't so lucky. Takumi Ito had took her out with the running three, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, Team Marvelous won the match. But the real question is, what happens here? Well, it appears, of course, Mighty Gold refuses to leave things as there is. So basically, they want to continue with this war between Marvelous, but we'll see when that the next time happens. So we'll stay tuned for that. So we are done with day one with Mighty Gold with Rising Spirit. Let's move on with day two. Okay, we continue with more with Mighty Gold with the Rising Spirit. This is day two. This took place on the 26th of May at the 176 box in Osaka. Now, nothing too special, but except one thing that I think I might have noticed. Well, nothing, yeah. I'm reviewing my notes a little bit, but nothing. So let's get started with the first match. Once again, we have Riara. This time she faces Komomo Minami. Um, I don't know how this one was going to turn out because it was just the opener. I'm not saying it's one of the best or the greatest, but it was just an opener. Pretty much Komomo Minami was able to overcome everything that Riara was throwing at her, but she was able to defeat her by applying a crucifix, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have a very interesting combination. We have Nagisa Tachibana teaming up with Minami Yuki. They take on what's her name, Ryoko Sakimura and Natsumi Shizuki. So basically, you can tell there's one experienced wrestler in this, and that's of course Shizuki. But however, this match ended with Shizuki applying a very high standard Boston crab onto what's her name, onto Tachibana, and just like that, Tachibana had no choice but to tap out, and just like that, it was completely over. Next up, we have a very interesting tag team combination: Gigaton and Megaton teaming up. They face against Flying Penguin and Hummingbird. However, the match started right away when they Gigaton and Megaton made a beeline towards them. So basically, you probably can guess there was going to be a lot of um, stuff going around, like taking them outside, trying to toss them in chairs, and that sort of. But however, it was in fact Gigaton who was able to win up the match. She, as you all seen, a hummingbird does the bridge onto her opponents. But however, somehow Gigaton was able to counter it and turned it into a German suplex hold. Now, not the German suplex where you just pick them up. Basically, is in the position where you already have them with the back of their necks, like in their shoulders, already pinned, and she just holding them as possible until the 3 count. That's exactly what Gigaton did in order to win. I was surprised that she was able to counter it, but surprisingly, it was a win. Next up, we have an interesting 6-woman tag team match. We have the members of Darkness Revolution, Mitsa Matsui, um, Chiaki, and Nagisa Nozaki taking on Chika Goto, Miku Anu, and Mai Sakurai. So basically, you probably can guess how this was going to turn out or anything. But of course, this is one of those moments where Mitsa Matsui is determined to face Mai Sakurai for her belt. That's pretty much where it was going to go. However, this match ended after a 15-minute time limit draw, and it was completely over from there. So no one win, nobody loses. Next up, we have our main event. We have Rhea Seto, Yamaoka, and Mirai. They team up to face against Celine Flora, which is of course Kizuna Tanaka, and Victoria Yuzuki. They team up with the MARIGOLD World Champion Utami Ashita. Now you can consider this one a preliminary match due to the fact that Utami Ashita will defend her championship against Mirai later on in one of their next big shows. So basically, that's how it's gonna roll up from there. I mean, there was a lot of moments, but I can tell Rhea Seto and Siri Yamaoka were determined to prove themselves that they can stand up against, of course, wrestlers like Sarah, like of course Kizuna, Victoria, and of course Utami. But unfortunately, it was Rhea Seto who ended up in the wrong side of the German suplex by Utami, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. So Utami Ashita picked up momentum before their next title match. So we'll see how things roll up from that. So right now we are done with day 2. Let's move on with day 3. Okay, day 3 of Marigold's The Rising Spirit. This took place on the 27th of April in the Chunichi Hall, which is in Nagoya, in case anybody asks. We opened up with Nagisa Tachibana versus Ryoko Sakimura versus Hummingbird, another 3-way match, of course. As you probably know by now, there's been like a rivalry between, of course, both Tachibana and Hummingbird, but Sakimura was not much of a big factor in this in some capacity. But one thing was interesting is how this match ended. Sakimura was the one who picked up her second win so far when she submitted Tachibana, but Hummingbird decided she was about to intervene to stop the match from ever allowing her to win, so she decided, what the hell? She deserves to be punished more. So she allowed Sakimura to defeat her. I don't know if it's humiliation or something. I don't know what type of rivalry both these ladies have, but yes, that's how it ended. So I don't know if anybody paid attention to that, but that's what exactly I saw. Next up, we have Riara versus Natsumi Shozuki. Now, of course, those who know Shozuki, she's the first ever Superfly champion, so most likely she could pick up the win, and that's exactly what she did when she applied, of course, the diving double knee drop, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, done. Next up, we have Komomo Minami versus Siri Yamaoka. Now, factors of this: Komomo Minami has picked up wins here and there, but Siri Yamaoka, who has been in wrestling for almost 5 months or so, has picked up great matches along the way. So basically, you probably can guess that's what's gonna be. but it was Yamaoka who picked up the win when she applied a submission. It looks more like a full Nelson lock, but somehow she was able to pin her down by getting her shoulders down, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, we have Gigaton teaming up with Mitsa Matsui. I can tell by this match that Mitsa Matsui is not a big fan of Gigaton. I mean, she probably would have thought, I'd rather team up with Megaton. They face against Minami Yuki and Chika Goto. Now, there's been some tensions between Chika Goto and Mitsa Matsui for quite some time, because if you guys know this, they used to be what was one time members of the Atlas Girls, but in the end, it was, of course, Mitsa Matsui who picked up the win when she applied it looks more like a Busaiko knee from looking at it. And just like that, Mitsa Matsui picked up the win with the 1, 2, 3, just like that. Next up, we got the other members of Darkness Revolution, Megaton, Chiaki, and Nagisa Nozaki taking on Kizuna Tanaka, Miku Ano, and Mai Sakurai. Which is kind of interesting because we would have assumed that Mitsu Matsui could have been on this match because she issued a challenge for the white belt, which Mai Sakurai has. But wasn't too sure how this was going to go. But it was Kizuna Tanaka who picked up the win when she applied a Fujiwara armbar onto Megaton. And just like that, Megaton had no choice but to tap out. Our next match is an exhibition match. We have Jungle Kiona versus Nane Takahashi. Now this happened when, of course, what's her name? When let me take this off, folks. When Jungle Kiona made an appearance in at the Kyoto event, the KBS Hall, she wanted to have a match against Nana Takahashi. For those who don't know, both these ladies used to be part of Stardom and back in the day. And of course, because Nana Takahashi is on the verge of retiring, this leads to it. However, it's an exhibition match, not a straight up match, but the time limit of this match is 5 minutes. Some of you may say that's nothing. Well, there's a specific reason. For those who don't know, Joe Kiona said that she hasn't been fully recovered from her knee injury. I mean, it seems like whatever treatment she tried to get, it did not work. But luckily, this match ended in a time limit draw after 5 minutes. So it seems like everything was normal. We don't know when Joe Kiona will return, but we do know she has been working as a fighter recently. But it's great to see her. And then, of course, she put out a post-match promo. I don't know what she said to, of course, Nane, but I'm sure she is happy to see her, to have that one opportunity to have this match with her. But, of course, Nane probably appreciate that from her. So we'll see what happens from here on out. Main event, we have Rhea Seto and Mirai versus Victoria Yuzuki and Utami Ashida. Now, of course, another preliminary match, Mirai versus Utami Ashida for the red belt. So the real question is who will walk out with momentum. Now, we have seen either Mirai or Utami Ashida. So basically, it's the same old thing over and over. But however, this match ended with Victoria Yuzuki applying a moonsault onto Seto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3. So basically, the momentum goes straight up to, of course, Utami Ashida. But we'll see how things will progress here on out, because I'm sure that their match will take place on the first year anniversary. So that's one of the things I probably will pay attention. But we'll see. So right now, we are officially done with day 3 of the Rising Spirit by MARIGOLD. Let's move on with day 4. Okay, MARIGOLD, day 4 of Rising Spirit. This was at the Yokohama Radiant Hall on April 29th. So basically, as you know, we continue with more preliminary matches and all this and that. First match, we have Riara versus Hummingbird. So nothing too special in this match whatsoever, anybody asks. But one thing that's interesting is how this match ended, because most of the time when it comes to Hummingbird, she uses the bridge as a way to pick up her wins. But so far, I'm not sure if Riara picked up, of course, did some homework on her. Well, she tried something different. She did a jumping, spinning front kick, and just like that, just knocked her out. 1, 2, 3, over. So she picked up the win. Next up, we have six-woman tag team match: Nagisa Tachibana, Ryoko Sakimura, and Minami Yuki. They take on Gigaton and the members of Darkness Revolution, Megaton, and Chiaki. Now, of course, a lot of things could go down on this one. Don't forget, Darkness Revolution are a heel group. They don't play by anybody else's rules other than themselves. And of course, they'll try to soften their opponents outside the ring, which they normally would. But however, it was Megaton who picked up the win when she applied a body splash onto Sakimura, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. Next up, you can consider this as a part of the preliminary match for the United National Championship. Darkness Revolution, Mitsumatsui, and Nagisa Nozaki team up. They face Chanyota and our current United National Champion, Mai Sakurai. Now remember, of course, Nagisa Nozaki has faced Mai Sakurai for this belt, but lost. But Mitsumatsui now stepped up her game to challenge her. So you can treat this as a preliminary match. So the real question I think many of us would ask, who will build up the momentum? I mean, they've been going backs and forth, backs and forth. I mean, Chanyota, she is a very strong, reliable partner for Mai Sakurai. As you all know, they first encountered back in Stardom. They didn't like each other. Then they became good friends. And of course, teaming up with Chanyota has always been a blessing for Mai Sakurai to team up with her. But however, the real question is, who will walk out with momentum? Will it be Mitsumatsui or Mai Sakurai? Well, neither exactly. This match ended after a 15-minute time limit draw, and just like that, it was over. But during the post match, Sakurai said something to her, to Mitsumatsui. I'm not sure if she believes, if Sakurai thinks that, does Mitsumatsui think she has a chance against her? We don't know. I mean, she has been unsuccessful to win championships. I mean, she tried the Superfly belt on various occasions, but unsuccessful. But we'll see what that goes. Now, our next match, you can treat this as a preliminary match. Seri Yamaoka, she teams up with Mirai to take on Komomo Minami. They take on Utami and Komomo Minami and Utami Ashida. So you can guess this is another preliminary match for the MARIGOLD World Championship, aka the Crimson Belt. So that kind of sets it up right there. However, I wasn't expecting too much, because I know for a fact this is about who builds up momentum in this match. Will it be, of course, Mirai or Utami Ashida? But in the end, it was Mirai who picked up the win when she applied some sort of a driver onto her, and just like that onto Komomo, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, it was over. But during the post-match promo, Mirai had some words to say to Tommy. I'm sure Tommy Ishida is well prepared, but Mirai, I'm sure she's telling her that she's going to be the one to keep her world title reign short, because she hasn't had this belt for this long. But only time will tell, so that's pretty much it. Now for our main event, Rhea Seto teams up with Celine Flora, consisting of Kizuna Tanaka and Victoria Zuki. They take on Chika Goto, Natsumi Shozuki, and Miku Anu. As you all know, all three of these ladies were part of Atlas Girl, so it's kind of interesting to see them team up. But nonetheless, it was a pretty good, interesting match. Nothing too special. But however, it was forgot it. It was, of course, Chika Goto that picked up the win onto Rhea Seto, and just like that, 1, 2, 3, over. So I don't know where this match leads, but it was a very interesting one. Now, nothing too big from this event, but as you know, their next big show, presumably, it's going to be their first year anniversary in Corkin Hall. So we'll see what happens until then. But for now, we'll leave things as it is. Hopefully, there'll be more Mighty Gold events to review. But until then, let's move on. So let's end it here and go with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news updates. As always, let's start with, of course, upcoming events. Now, this coming Monday on Cinco de Mayo, Marvelous will have, of course, I think it's their ninth anniversary show. However, they decided to have a one night tournament, and this is for the AAAW tag team belts. However, they already set up the brackets that will take place. Now, this is for one team that they have already. One side we have Magenta, former tag champions. They take on the rookies, Sora Ayame and Senka Akatsuki. And then we have Eyahausen and Venny teaming up. They take on Sadie Gibbs and Robbie Eagles. Now on the other side of the bracket, we have three. We have one team that currently has a bye, and that is of course from coming from Sendai Girls, Mika Awada and Yurika Oka. Now, two of the matches that will take place. I think whoever faces between whoever face Mika Awada, or it will be either between this is who they chose. Let me pull it up real quick. Okay, so we have Ranu and Hibiscus Me versus Chihiro Hashimoto and Amari. Now, whoever comes out of that match, the winners, they will face Iwata and Oka. And then there's, of course, the other match. We have Suri and Takumi Iroha. They face Izuki Aoki and Unagi Sayaka. So that's pretty much what's going to take place. So, of course, we do know that there's going to be more with the Marvelous and MARIGOLD War they've been throwing out. So that's something we will pay attention to. DEFY Wrestling has announced for their upcoming event later on this month on the 16th of May. Fatal Fantasy, the DEFY Women's Championship will be defended. Marina Shafir defends her championship against Smiley Kylie Ray. A match has been announced for the upcoming Crockett Cup that will take place on the 17th of May in Philadelphia. Thrillbilly Cyrus Mason will take on Alex Hammerstone. So that's pretty much it of the upcoming events, in case anybody asks. Let's talk about, of course, our developments. Now, you probably saw that I released WWE releases. Well, there's been some other releases that have been announced. Savannah Evans, it seems that she is no longer part of TNA. Her contract expired. But she did post something on her X account. Let me pull that up real quick for all of you. So basically, she says, as of April, I am currently a free agent. Very grateful for my time in TNA as well as everyone there. Time to hit the ground running. For booking and signing inquiries, book Savannah Evans at Gmail. So, book Savannah Evans at gmail.com. So, if you guys know any promoters in your vicinity that wants to have her, then book her there. She also says she has her passport ready, her license in Virginia, South Carolina, and I'm thinking Missouri. You can still follow her on her Instagram, which is Savannah EVS. So basically, that's pretty much it. Now, it turns out she's not the only one who, of course, is also been released. So is EJ Nduka. Turns out that his contract with AW has expired, and he has said to say, "I was never meant to sit and bench where sure made for unsure. I heard the call. Now it's time to move. I think this guy was made to ride the bench. You need to call for 1800 number, and you suffer from Meadows, whatever to call. But yes, so we'll see where these two go. Now, it was recently announced that AEW will be participating in the famous um, 2300 Arena, which used to be the home of ECW. They'll be doing some shows between, of course, August the 27th all the way to 9/11. So basically, yes, they'll be doing some shows there. So that's been announced. Um, Tokyo Oshi Pro Wrestling has announced a brand new trainee that will be making her debut real soon, named Konatsu. She'll be making her debut on June 1st at Chinuchi Hall in Nagoya. So that's pretty much it. Now, interesting factors I think many people know, as we've been talking a lot more about WWE. Um, many people would say, will we see any wrestlers that will be making the participation from WWE to AAA? Well, Dorian Roldan, who you all know is one of the higher ups of AAA, did mention that they would love to have Rey Mysterio to participate. Ray hasn't been in the company for since 2018. This was around that time before he returned it to WWE. But they also mentioned they would love to have Penta and Ray Phoenix as well. So that is something we most likely would see. I don't know about, of course, like Santos Escobar or Andrade. I know Andrade is not a big fan of AAA for two obvious reasons. One, he believe they don't pay well, and two, he was still upset at the fact that Conan made the decision to allow Kenny Omega to become the Mega Championship, even though he was told he was going to be the champion. But that's how it is. So we'll see how things will roll out from there. Hopefully, if there is a chance he could go back there, yes, we'll just keep apprising on that. So as of right now, we are officially done. So let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you probably know, we have New Japan with Wrestling Dondaku. The main event features the dog pound cage match between the House of Torture, or should I say the House of Losers, versus the War Dogs. So basically, there's that and plenty other matches as well. And I believe we have AW Collision. And if there's anything else, we'll go from there. So just stand by for anything else. If there's any other news updates regarding releases or stuff with AAA and all this, or with Mayu, I'll put that separately for all of you. That way we can keep track. So until then, I will see you guys on the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.